I think like with all the work, sculpture especially, I'm talking about the possibility of categorizing. So there's so much in there as a kind of semantic level, a kind of material level, and an archival level that it's impossible to go through it. Like I often think about doing a show where I list all the things in it, almost like a forensics site, and you have to list all the items or figures to analyze. So we could systematically go through it, and this thing about including the military operations as fragments of that are silk-screened, Sea Breeze and Spring of Youth, and also headline names that I've reappropriated from the tabloids that I found them in. Like there's so many layers of how that is intervened in that we could just talk about the historical background of these military operations in Gaza and Palestine that you wouldn't normally know unless I was pointing you to it. So on the kind of language level, there's that. The rags and clothes, they're stuff that I used to mop up paint, so that's like part of the physical process. These kind of photocopied anatomical drawings from a kid's book and forensics book of like dermatology, post-mortem. And this sign that I've reappropriated from Gucci, which is my father's call sign that he uses in ham radio. So this all sounds quite absurd if I do. And I guess that it's about that impossibility of taxonomy, or the limit point of taxonomy. So how do I pick them? I try to put everything out in a spread in the studio, and then get into this place where I'm freeing myself from that semantic history and just treating it like a palette. So the palette is these materials and these colors and these textures and these weights. So I tried not to think about it too much and just be a painter with these weights of meaning. I have a few projects lined up. Like I'm excited about this institutional show in Germany in a church, because again, I'm approaching a space that is bigger than this context. So you have to treat it with a certain respect, aesthetic and historical. So how I would respond to that, it was going to be a challenge. It's quite big to say dream, but I'm intrigued by going into more time-based media and film, because I think every artist has a kind of medium that's given to them and they don't choose. Like I'm a draftsman or a painter, and I really admire filmmaking. I just can't do it. I just don't have the brain for it. But I think when I do an installation, I'm thinking about multiples and things staggered in time, so there'd be like many grids. So I'm thinking of the way I'd make a film would be a stuttering kind of short film that looks like an epileptic fit. So something that's time-based, something that involves these objects but put in a temporal scape.